Alright, so here is number 1 on the calculating properties assignment. Now, with number 1, I'm just going to make my screen a little bigger here. What we have to do is, using the sketch below, calculate the area of the square, add all linear dimensions to the sketch. So, it's saying each grid box is 1 inch. And it actually has the calculation in here for us, but I want to show you how to do it. So really what we have to worry about here is, one, adding our linear dimensions. So that's pretty straightforward. We would do it like this, with 8 inches, because each grid box is 1. And I'll go over here and add my second. So for number 1, this is very straightforward, which is why we're going to roll straight into number 2. 8 inches here. And this is what you would need for the notebook. You need to write the formula. Area equals base times height. Our base equals 8 inches. Our height equals 8 inches. And the area overall is 8 times 8, which is going to give us an area of 64 inches squared. So that's for number 1. But we're going to take this information with number 1 and we're going to modify it a little. So looking at number 2, the area of the square represented above, so the one we just did, so that would be this one right here. So the area of this square, they're saying, has been revised so that it is now 90.25 inches squared. Note the original grid spacing no longer applies. So for question A, what is the length of a side of the square? You got to justify your answer. So A, we got to start out with some different information. So for A, the area was given to us, and that is 90 inches squared, or 90.25 inches squared. Inches squared. So what we can do for this, the simplest way is, this is a square, and the area of a square is, for the square, the area of a square is side squared. So we can rearrange this formula where side equals the square root of the area. So we'll take that 90.25 inches squared, and we will make it into the answer. And we can do that right in the calculator. So let's get the calculator out. And I think I need to get into the scientific view. Let's see. Is there a square root button on here? Square root of 90.25 equals, get square root. There we go. Equals 9.5. Equals 9.5 inches. So that is the answer for each side. And we're going to have to remember that going through our list here. So going to the next question for B, it's saying, using this length, what would be the corresponding grid spacing for the sketch above? Justify your answer. Okay, so before, our grid spacing was 1 inch per thing, and that was when the area was 64, because that just happened to work out. So now we have to rearrange this. So now we're looking at it now, 8 grid spaces, right? 8 grid spaces equals 9.5 inches, which is what we got from the last thing. So we can simply divide this. If the whole length of those grid spaces is 9.5 inches and we divide it by the 8 grids, then we're going to get an answer that is going to be something over grids. So if we take our calculator out, 9.5 divided by 8 equals 1.1875 inches per grid. So that is going to be our answer. So 1.1875 inches per grid. Okay, so that's where we are for 2B. Moving on to 2C. This is asking, what size circle would you cut out of the square in order to have the remaining area be 66.5 inches squared? Okay, so this is a little more complicated. So first our area is changing. So like if I draw the square over here, where the total area is the 90, right? 0.25. And then I come in here and I draw a circle, and the area remaining, which I'm coloring in, is 66.5. Then what is the circle? So first I'm going to see what my remaining area is. So I'm going to take the 90.25 and subtract the 66.5. Let's see what we get there. 90.25 minus 66.5. And I'm getting a 23.75. This is my remaining area. So that is the area of the circle. Area of the circle equals 23.75. That's the area. But what size circle is that? Like, what size circle has it? So we got to look at the area of a circle in terms of a formula. And the area of a circle is pi r squared. So we've got 23.75 equals pi r squared. And we've got to isolate this. So there's a couple ways you can do that. One simple way is we can eliminate pi. We can divide both sides by pi, which will get rid of pi. So 23.75 divided by 3.14 for rounding purposes. This is going to leave us with 7.56. Then we'll leave it there. 7.56 equals radius squared. So to isolate radius, we would just look at, going up here, we have to isolate radius. So radius would be the square root of 7.56. And if we do the square root of 7.56, we're going to get a radius of 2.75, or a diameter of 5.5, approximately. So that is the size of our circle, 5.5 inches in diameter. So moving on, apply all the necessary annotations to locate the circle. So I mean, I do not have a nice straight edge or drawing tools like that in Jamboard. I wish I did. I wish I had the ability to draw lines. Wait, do I? Can I? No. That just lets me move stuff around. Sticky note. Nope. Nothing. So basically, you know, if I, using the red to kind of locate, like this would be the center of the circle. and I'm using it so that the grid spaces are 1.18. So these would be 1, 2, somewhere in here would probably be around where I'd want to locate my circle to draw it. And then I could go in and draw my circle. And do the best job you can to draw the circle. And then we would add our center mark for drawing purposes. We could get rid of all of this silliness, and we could go in and dimension. Okay, so just going into dimension, we would locate the circle as such.